Hello everybody, my name is Connor and we are going over this game. This game was, I feel like, really close. I'm curious to see where it turned. And it's against Ivankov, which is just a leader that I've always loved. Like, I'm obsessed. I don't know why. Queer icon, I guess, but yeah, I wanted to talk about this game. I felt like it was a pretty interesting game because you don't see Ivankov a lot, and it was a little grindy, a lot of removal going on between two blue decks, and yeah, it was pretty fun. So my opponent goes out, plays Buggy turn 1, and gets the 6-drop Luffy, which is pretty scary, honestly. And then let's see, they're at 3 Dawn, we're at our 2 Dawn, and we have, looks like a Jinbei, our Altart Law, Weevil, yeah, Altart Law, Gecko. So we have a pretty good hand. It looks like we have Dofi too. I see about 1 Dofi per game every game I'm playing Boa, so that's sad. Speaking of Dofi, my opponent goes ahead and plays out his own Dofi, which is, yeah, I feel like it's a staple in blue, honestly. Like, you have to play Dofi, it's too good not to. But they go ahead and send everything to the bottom and send 5 at life, and I think I'm pretty comfortable taking the first hit usually. And we get a 2k Mihawk, and we get our Red Rock, which is good. I like seeing Red Rock, especially because I kind of know what Ivankov can do. I played a lot of Ivankov on the sim just like in my free time, just because I was toying with the idea of bringing it. They use I think that's Inazuma to counter out. And we Jinbei into, I assume, Dofi. That is one of my favorite things to do. I think I'm choosing between Dofi and Weevil. Yeah, I go Dofi. I think Weevil would have been okay too. Let's see, we are reorganizing our top. Our top is honestly kind of rough. Getting 2 Weevils with no counter, especially because I know that the 7-drop Ivankov is coming, and I know there's the 6-drop Inazuma and the 7-drop Ivankov and the 6-drop Luffy. Like, those are very intimidating cards. They provide a lot of pressure, so definitely kind of want to get some removal and some trigger or some counter. I mean, I do have a decent amount of counter right now, but not thrilled about seeing all those Weevils up there, especially without Jinbei. I really like playing Weevil and Jinbei, but we'll see there. We'll see how this goes. So my opponent goes ahead, taps 1, and plays out Kaya. And the funny thing about this, honestly, was we were talking about blue decks and Kaya's, and he was like, oh, my hand would have to be really jacked up to actually play a Kaya. Like, I use it as a 2k. So he plays this one Kaya, and I was like, oh man, that's kind of rough, dude. And then he taps another one, and he plays another Kaya, and I'm like, dude, no. And he's like, yeah, his hand was rough, and so he had to play 2 of his Kayas. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I'm seeing he's trashing a couple of bigger bodies or good body. I think that's the Mr. 2. That's a blocker, I think. But he does end up finding the 7-drop Ivankov, which is absolutely needed in this deck, I feel. And he's got 2 Dawn left, so... And at this point, his board is looking... It's looking full. It's not looking scary, but it's looking full. But he goes 7 into me, and I think taking it would have been okay too, but I feel like I block. I don't think that was the best choice. I think I could have taken it or even countered out, just because I have a decent hand. I don't know, but we do get another Jinbei, so I'm tempted to play Jinbei into Gecko to get the Dofi back, but I think Jinbei into Weevil is an okay option too. And I know this tournament I had a really hard time with my decision making. The first game went really smoothly, and then the second game, I'm not posting on the channel. I played against Jewelry Bonnie, and I just was not playing well. just making some really bad choices. So I was kind of, I don't want to say checked out, but like in my head at that point. But I swing 6 at Ivankov, and he takes, and I think he's looking like it's a trigger. Yeah, and I've got the 4 set aside to do something with it, something for sure. And then we go another 6 with Boa, and they block, which is good. That's kind of, I wanted that off the board. And then we Jinbei into Weevil. Yep, that's a good choice, Connor. And we get our pudding, which, now, an interesting thought I just had is, if I puddinged him, even though he's at less cards, he had to do a lot to get his hand fixed. I don't know. I think that's too risky of a play, but it's just an interesting thing that just popped in my head, so wanted to voice it, you know? So he goes ahead and taps all his Dawn. I think that's, the 7 for the Ivankov. And I think I do misplay coming up here. He ends up playing the Luffy. Well, I don't know if it's a misplay, but his board is looking scary for sure now. I mean, not the Kayas or the Buggies. I mean, Buggy's a scary guy, but he ends up bouncing Weevil back to my hand, which is kind of unfortunate. Although I will get to draw again, but I didn't remember it doing that, so I asked to read it, and he let me read it, and I said, oh, well, whoopsies. I forgore, as the kids say. And he swings 5, and I use pudding to counter out. He swings 5 at Jinbei, and at this point I'm thinking I need to keep my body so I can answer. And we go ahead and pull one of our Weevils from the top of the deck. Definitely unfortunate to have to get that now when he's got such an oppressive board. And I'm trying to decide. I'm pretty sure I red rock the Luffy at this point, because I don't want the double attack. Oh, I asked him if I can read Inazuma just to see what they do, and he thinks I mean lead. And yeah, so that's what that was. I should have been more clear about that. But I think I end up red rocking Luffy because I don't want that double attack. It's scary. So yeah, I swing just a standard 5, and he goes ahead and takes. And I swing another 5, and he counters that with the croc he just got. I swing 7, and he takes, and I'm like, okay, like we're doing stuff here. Like I'm feeling confident. I still have 4 life. I tap 6, and I end up red rocking the Luffy. Oh, that's supposed to go to the bottom of his deck and not his trash. I didn't notice that. Whoopsies. I think it's supposed to go to the bottom of his deck. I'm like 90% sure it does. But yeah, so I don't know if it would have been worth red rocking the Inazuma because it's a bigger body. And he plays Gravity Blade and sends my guys to the bottom of the trash, my Jinbeis, or the bottom of my deck, excuse me. I got trash on my mind, I guess. And yeah, that doesn't feel right. Especially because he's got a very big board and I don't have a very big board. He swings 7. I think I go ahead and take, and we get Sengoku. He swings, I think that's 2 non. He swings the 0. I don't understand when people swing 0 like that. I don't know if there's a reason for that. So if anyone knows, let me know. Because I know a couple people do it. I don't know if it's because they want me to swing into it and get it off board. Or use something to get it off board. But I've seen a couple people do that. And I'm always like, why? So I'm trying to decide. And I don't think I ever finished this thought. I'm so sorry. I'm wondering if it would have been better to red rock the Ivankov because I'm running Gravity Blade and Luffy can be hit by Gravity Blade, but I don't have a Gravity Blade. So, yeah, feeling like this might have been better. So I go big into Ivankov because my thought is he doesn't have a lot in hand. He has 2 in hand. I want to get Ivankov off board. I don't really feel like I have much I can play here to, you know. And so that's why I did that. Don't know if it was a good idea or what, but I tap 4 and I play out a Weevil and I draw. Do I draw another Weevil? I do draw another Weevil. I'm wondering here, maybe playing out the Gecko and getting out the Doflamingo blocker would have been a better option. But I do have a 6k body on board. But he ends up dropping his own Dofi, rearranging the top of his deck. And yeah, because I'm feeling like I can't play a lot of my bodies. And I think this is part of the reason I'm just like in my head. I'm like, I can't play Law because, you know, I can't, you know, have him send anything to the bottom. But like, no, I can still play Law. That's a body, you know. So he plays out another blocker, the Mr. 3 blocker. And he swings 5, and I think I counter with Law here. No, I counter with Mihawk. I really just use that Mihawk as counter. It would be a good way to clean up my hand if I needed it, but he swings 5, I take, I get Croc. I feel like I'm always getting that Crocodile out of life. But we do top deck another Dofi, a blocker Dofi. And yeah, one thing I'm not running, which on the list I'm working on, I'm working on trying out some other boa sauce, but I am running Perfume Fleur in that list. So I go 5 into Buggy just to get him off field, and I have a bunch of cards in hand. I'm setting out the 4 Dawn. I've got 2-4. I think I'm just trying not to make it so obvious what my plays are, but I want to separate my Dawn so I can see. I'm a visual person. So yeah, he lets Buggy go. And I think I'm trying to decide in which order I want to do it. I could drop Dofi and then Gecko and then Dofi, but instead I swing 7, 8, 9 into him, knowing that he's either gonna have to take or block. I think honestly, I feel like getting my 2 blockers, Gecko and a Dofi, and then dropping 2 Dofis. I think that might have been a better play, but I do play Gecko. I think I get Mihawk back. Okay. I think I'm looking for 2Ks at this point. And then I tap 3. Yeah, because I think the Dofi play might have been better. There's my Gravity Blade. That's great. And then I do seeing that Boa reminds me I do goof in this game. Stupid Boa and her simpness for Luffy. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what order I want to put these cards in. That's another thing I struggle with in this game is like the optimal order. I know playing Queen originally. I think I played Queen at the start of my channel. I think I don't know. It was so long ago. Or as I was starting the channel, so there's no videos. I think that was it, as I was starting the channel. But yeah, playing Queen kind of helped me like know that, like, understand the Dofi blocker. And see here, my opponent plays out the Inazuma from the Ivankov. They trash the Kaya and play out the Dofi. I think that having 2 Dofi blockers would have been more beneficial in this situation. Thankfully they didn't play out the Luffy, but I do feel like here is where I start to kind of I'm feeling like maybe that play, and maybe I'm like totally wrong about that being like the like a poor play. Maybe it may not be as bad as I think it is, but I do feel like that is kind of where I start to lose it, if that's not too much of a spoiler. He swings 5, I 2k out, just because I want to keep the Gecko in my hand. He swings 5, I 2k, and he restands, trashes the card in hand, restands, and then Inazuma ability Ivankov ability and then Inazuma ability. It's a great thing they've got going. So he's got a really big board at this point. I feel like I'm under the impression that I Gravity Blade and I send his blockers to the bottom, and if I do, I'm gonna beat myself up. I should have sent Inazuma to the bottom, and he trashes them again. I gotta make sure that I'm watching where my opponent sends that shit. I think I wanted to go for game here because I was like, he doesn't have that many cards in hand. Realistically, I should have. I don't know why I did that. I really do think I was trying to go for game, which is not a good choice. That's a very poor choice. I should have bottom decked his Inazuma and the Mr. 3 blocker, because Mr. 3 can help him discard cards, and I don't see a stage from him. So that would have absolutely 1000% been the better play, because Inazuma is a 6 cost and Gravity Blade can bottom deck 6 costs. So he plays out another Dofi blocker, which is fine. See, these are matchups where I wish I was running Perfume Fluor, but we're getting there, boys. I think it is needed. Just with Black Yellow Luffy, with how many blockers are around, especially in Black Yellow Luffy, he's a pain to get through, and I feel like Perfume Fluor will really help. But yeah, enough about other games. This game, sorry, it's kind of late and I'm all over the place. So he plays out another Ivankov, not Inazuma, excuse me, and he plays out a Luffy, and he will take. I'm too scared by his board, honestly, to notice that he has too many characters on board. He does end up taking off the buggy, don't worry. Just because I'm trying to figure out what I do. Like, at this point, I'm like, I think I just lose. So he swings 7 into Gecko, and I'm thinking I need to save my hand for myself to keep me alive. And he swings the, 6? And I take that, and I get Mihawk, which I have since removed Mihawk from the list, because it was nice, but it's just too bricky. He swings 5, I go ahead and counter out with Gecko. And yeah, so I get Boa, and I'm trying to figure out what my best chance of survival is. I definitely think I whiffed on the Gravity Blade. And yeah, here he goes, removing his buggy. No worries, he got there. But yeah, I think I definitely whiffed on the Gravity Blade, and I think that's starting from potentially the Weevil into the Gecko, the Gecko play where I played Gecko and didn't play down 2 blockers, and then going into the Gravity Blade. I think that's definitely where I lost it. I definitely should have bottom decked the Mr. 3 blocker and Inazuma just to get them off the board. Mr. 3, because it benefits him and his needing to have a small hand size to activate Ivankov ability. And yeah, so I swing 6 at life. I think I swing 5 at life, just hoping that somehow he has an absolutely bricked hand and we can get him to use his blocker. And I go to freeze Luffy here because of the double attack, but realistically it doesn't matter. He can't kill me with double attack. But yeah, with that board and what I have in hand, there's, I think, freezing, and I'm really thinking about this because I'm pretty sure I there's nothing I can do at this point, and I can't see my cards in my hand because my cat's in the way again. But yeah, I get the Mihawk, which has no counter. I have a couple Weavels in my hand, which have no counter. So I play Boa, and I freeze. I gotta freeze Luffy, and I'm like, oh shit. So I think I freeze the Ivankov instead, one of the Ivankovs instead. And I don't know. I feel like it might have been better to drop 2 Weevils to get fresh cards in my hand, because I'm running. There's a lot of bricks in my hand. So yeah, I freeze Ivankov. And since there's no way that I can cycle, and I was torn between freezing Ivankov and or dropping Boa or dropping Mihawk. But I thought if I dropped Boa, I'd have some more Dawn to like swing or play something with. So I Weevil and I draw a card and I draw a Gecko. So yeah, I should have potentially. So dropping a Weevil and the Dofi blocker and then swinging into some of the board, I think probably the better play. And Ivankov is tapped because it's frozen. As I mentioned last game, it's I'm trying to find a better way to signify that, you know, things are frozen. So he ends up dropping 2 for Duval. I remember he said just in case, and he's gone through a lot of his deck actually. So that's interesting, and I feel like I go through a lot of my deck as Boa too, but maybe that's just a blue thing. Yeah, he's trying to figure out what to do. He swung with Ivankov, and he attaches a ton onto Luffy, and I can't get there, so I go ahead, and that is the game. So I definitely think and I'm interested in what you guys say, because I think that the two, or where I really messed up, was that gravity play. Because I know, like, I felt like we were pretty back and forth, but then his board just got out of control, and I think gravity blading the correct thing. The Inazuma was able to draw him cards when he needed cards, and I think that gravity blading the blocker that let him discard the card, and then the Inazuma that let him draw cards, I think that would have been the best play to keep his hand size and his board really small, and I think I goofed that. But that is why I make these videos, so I can see things like that, things that I wouldn't think about in the heat of the moment, and learn from it, and talk about it, and have you guys tell me why I'm bad so I can improve. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, hit that like button down below. It helps me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.